John Crothers. I'm the head of the Farrier department for Kawell copper alloy horseshoes. Now we're going to show how easy it is to braze the copper inserts into the steel shoe and the copper insert into the copper shoe. Now, I do all my work with brazing. I don't do any welding. One of the problems if welding copper, you have to have very sophisticated equipment, and with brazing I can join any two metals together, or most any two metals together very easily with brazing. And brazing is just so much more versatile in your everyday practice. So one of the first things we need to do is prepare our shoe and our insert for the brazing. To do that, everything needs to be very, very clean. And the other thing I like to do is I like to put little 45 bevels where I'm going to be putting my brazing in. So we're just going to lightly grind these edges, a little bit of a 45, clean that inside heel just a little bit. We want to get as much of the rust and impurities out of there as we can. So you can see how I have a little bit of a 45. That will just help give me room to put my brazing rod, my filler material, for a stronger, better hold. So that's the shoe done. Now I'm just going to bevel the insert just a little bit. So now we're ready. We'll check our fit, make sure our fit's still nice and snug. Okay, let's go ahead and open that insert up just a little bit. We want to try to get as snug of a fit as possible. We can get a little bit more. And there we go. Our bevels, that'll allow our rod, our brazing rod, to penetrate down into the product and into the shoe and the insert a little bit better. The rod I'm going to be using has a brass or bronze inside, and then it has a flux core or a flux coating on the outside. The flux is going to help keep impurities and oxidation out of my braze. So we're going to get torch fired up here. So I have just the acetylene lit. We're going to bring in the oxygen. And if you look closely, you'll see that there's two different blue feathered cones. We want to bring that into one single cone. Need a little bit more heat, so I'm going to add some more acetylene here. There we go. So now we have one cone. When doing the steel to copper, I'm going to focus my heat on the steel so that we don't cause the copper to melt. The heat reaction will move over to the copper on its own. Okay, so if you notice right in this area, right where my blue tip is, the steel is starting to become a little bit molten. And that's when it's ready to start brazing. I'm going to get some more heat over into my copper. Both products, both pieces are starting to sweat. So this is a process of putting the heat in and heat out. The rod stays in. Got a little bit more back here. Gonna add a little bit more up in the very front here. Okay, so one side of that is done. Get some heat over to the copper now. Okay, so then we have our plate raised in on one side. Turn it over and we'll put our braze, we'll braze here on the back side. This is where you need to add a little bit more finesse with your torch so as to not melt out your copper or your braze from the other side. Trick to brazing is heat in, heat out. And there we go. So now we just have to let this air cool. Set my torch aside. We're just going to let this air cool down and then we can do a little grinder cleanup on it. I'm just going to hang it here on the horn. Okay, so we're going to prepare our copper the same way, grinding the bevels, 45 bevels into the heels and into the insert. Our shoes prepared. You can see the bevels into the shoe. We're going to do the same thing on the insert. Not everybody does this. This is just my preference. I feel like I get a better braze, better hold. So now we'll see how our fit comes in here. Fits nicely. Put this up on our brazing plate. And we are ready to braze our frog insert to our copper shoe now. It's going to be the same process, just won't take quite as much heat. But with this, because we have similar metals or the same metal here, I'm going to be heating equally across both the shoe and the insert. I'm not going to focus my heat on the shoe. So working back and forth between the two pieces of metal. The blue tip of my flame is staying right down on my material, on my stock. It's a little harder to see this start to sweat. Not quite getting enough heat in there. Let's turn up the flame just a little bit. There we go. When brazing, it's much like soldering, your brass or the rod will chase the heat wherever your heat is focused to. Hello, Shorty. Shorty is the mascot here at the Williamstown Equestrian. He's a little mini donkey. We'll introduce you to Shorty here after a while, because you'll hear him talking and saying hi all day long. There we go. So the top side of our shoe is brazed. Now we'll take it, turn it over, and get the bottom side. You can see on this side, some of my brass, it penetrated down through. That's good. I don't have a problem with that. insert is brazed into the copper shoe. So we're going to let that shoe sit and air cool, as this shoe should be ready to cool off and to quench, and just grind it to clean up the excess braze. When cooling after brazing, you want to slowly go into the water. You don't want to do a hard dunk, or you'll instantly crack your braze. So we're just going to do a little cleanup work here. Pull this off one more time and we'll take a look at our finished product. Copper alloy insert brazed into a steel shoe. Great for treating this insert will constantly 24/7 be treating thrush issues, interbulbar dermatitis issues. We'll talk some more about that here in a little bit. Now our copper shoe is ready to cool. Again, slow into the water so you don't crack the braze. You can finish cooling it out. Now, one thing about grinding with copper is the heat transfers very rapidly. So we're going to clean this up now. And one last cool down. And there's our copper frog insert brazed into a copper shoe. You can adjust the pitch of these so that you can get contact. These inserts are not, it's not necessary to make pressure, and many times depending on the whatever the issue is with the frog thrush or interbulbar dermatitis, the horse will become very uncomfortable with pressure. But you can adjust the pitch of this so that you get direct contact and only contact with these inserts.